Hello.
Savannah Cristina, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Welcome to the show. It's an honor to have you on here today.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Congratulations on a new EP, Self Care.
Yes, yes, super exciting. Yes.
What do you love most about it?
I love how honest it is. I love how imperfect the lyrics are. I just love the realness of it all. I think this year has been really real.
Yeah.
And not having a facade in the way that I present my music and my visuals has been the most rewarding part of it all.
What was something that affected you most in making this project? Because there's so many things that went on this year between COVID-19, Kobe Bryant died this year, Pop Smoke, so many tragic things. It just on and on and on and on. What was, if you could pinpoint something that was really just affected you in the making this project?
The most um, the most drastic factor that affected me was really staying motivated,
Mhm.
being stuck in the house and not being able to fly out to different cities where you can meet different producers and just do shows and like just keep your mind right. That was the biggest factor for me was staying motivated and remembering my why, because after a certain point throughout the year you'd be like, what's the point? What
Yeah.
is really the point? But I kept finding the point of it all, and that was the biggest accomplishment.
And going back to the beginning of where you grew up in Florida. Where in Florida did you grow up exactly?
I grew up in a place called Broward County.
Hmm.
So I grew up on Martin Luther King and Broward Boulevard, and I was just, just a small neighborhood
Hmm.
girl. Yeah.
Tell me about your introduction into R&B and soul. Was it a family member who introduced it to you, or was something of your own interest?
It was something that I just picked up on going to school, going to the Boys and Girls Club, just listening to R&B. It wasn't really something, my family is into all kind of music. So they introduced every genre, but R&B was the only one that really spoke to me.
Mhm. And what did you love most about R&B? Because it's different from any genre, in my opinion.
I like how versatile R&B is. You can do R&B on a trap beat. You can do R&B on something that sounds country. It's all about the soul of it. So I love the versatility in R&B. It doesn't put you in one box.
Hip hop is the number one genre right now. Do you see R&B moving into that number one spot?
I do see it moving into that spot, but hip hop be banging. So I think it'll move into a spot with similar attraction, but it will never be the same.
In growing up just in the 90s as well, who were the main artists who inspired you? Because that's considered the golden era to a lot of people of R&B.
Well, see, I was born in '97.
Okay.
So I kind of didn't grow up in the 90s music. A lot of it definitely was passed on to me from my older siblings or, cousins and stuff like that. I mean, when I was coming up, I was always listening to Destiny's Child and I was listening to Beyonce. Those were like my R&B, shrines. And then of course, Joe Scott
Yep.
was somebody who I listened to religiously, Alicia Keys and Erykah Badu. Artists like that were the biggest influences on my R&B track that I went down.
And speaking of Alicia Keys, you brought her up, as you well know, her reaction to your song Self Care on Genius. What was going through your mind when she reacted to your song? That's huge. She's one of the legends in the game.
It was surreal. I did not know that was going to happen. Nobody told me it was going to happen. So I was taking a nap and I had my friends blowing up my phone and like, Alicia Keys loves self-care. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure Alicia Keys does like doing self-care, but why are y'all telling me this? And like, no, like she listened to your song and they sent me the link and I was completely like, it looked fake. I was like, who photoshopped this? It was crazy. It was really crazy.
It was surreal.
It was surreal.
Do you see yourself working with her someday on a song?
I do. I do. I see that being something that would make sense for the both of us as far as like our writing influences and just the messages that we have. It would be completely in line.
Some other collaborations I know that you would love to work with: Young Thug, Party Next Door. Party Next Door, I'm interested in learning about why you like him so much. What do you love most about his style?
Oh my gosh. What is there not to love? He's an excellent writer. So I listen to all his tapes. Like I still listen to his music like it's the day it dropped. He's an amazing writer. His songs are very, very transparent. Like it's so like a lot of things he says is super toxic and he's super okay with it. Like Party Next Door is like an R&B future in a sense. He's just
Mhm.
very, very blood raw. And I really, really do like that about his music. So that's why I want to work.
Mhm. Big album that dropped last night was Trey Songz. Do you like Trey Songz?
I didn't know. I did not know that.
Yeah, he just dropped the big album. That's like the biggest talk in R&B right now is how his album dropped. I was wondering if you might have listened to it because he's a legend too.
Trey Songz been in the game, and Trey Songz has definitely set the tone of, what his brand is. I don't think there could ever be somebody right now who could come in and like take Trey Songz. He's pretty much the king of what he does. So
Yeah,
his place that he's in, he's doing his thing.
yes. And getting back to your EP, of course, Doing Me is my favorite song. I used that on the promo this morning in the stories. What was the inspiration behind that track and who produced it?
So the track was produced by an amazing producer named Plus. I'm actually linking with him tonight. And Doing Me was inspired by self-care. So part of your self-care routine is doing you. And a lot of times we get knocked off track when we stop doing us. When you try to do everybody else but you. You're trying to keep up with this person, that person. You're trying to, you're trying to live for everybody else. So Doing Me was an anthem that I wrote, basically just saying like, I'm doing me and you might not like it, but it feels good for me. Mm-hmm. And so it was something that was inspired by just getting back into my zone and being very unapologetic.
Mm-hmm. Now, how do you do that? You isolate yourself into doing you, because I think of that sometimes too, because you got to help other people out and working with other people. How do you isolate yourself in which you're just doing yourself? What mind frame do you have to be in?
A lot of it is just not being so available to your phone. Like things don't even be real. Like nothing really happens throughout the day. When you really put your phone down and you really think about what's in front of you, nothing is going on. So what I've been working on is separating myself from my phone. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. People hate it. I don't care. I don't check my text messages. I don't check I don't check DMs. I don't check anything. And it sounds bad, right? But I know that the alternative is me losing my mind, trying to be there for everybody all the time. So that's how I do it.
And I think it helps you stay focused with your music and writing as well, because if there's all these distractions, you can't focus on what the goal is.
Yeah, I can't even focus on life. Like, I can't even focus on my purpose. So that's just what I do.
Yeah. Tell me about your deal with Warner, because I heard about that for self-care. Why are they the right fit for you?
So for me, I just like the way that the team was it was this melting pot of people from all different walks of life, all different career histories, all different industries that they came from or different labels that they came from. It became this melting pot of people who had something to prove. And I feel like I have something to prove as well. So with us working together, there's just so much fire. And I knew that from the minute that I walked into the building and the way that they treated me. And it's been the same ever since. They let me do me. They understand self-care and they're so supportive. So for me, it was the best fit.
Mm-hmm. For songwriting for R&B, would you ever write songs for someone else?
Yes. I want to write so many songs for people. Like, that's what I want to do. I can't wait till I get the chance to do that. I was just talking about that today.
And there's a lot of money in that, I heard.
Oh my gosh. And you don't even have to go on stage and sing it. You just got to give it to somebody. So I can't wait. I'm praying for that.
Do you have any artists in mind that you would want to write for?
Ooh, everybody. I want to write for Ari Lennox. Not saying these people need me to write for them, but
yeah.
I want to write for Ari Lennox. I want to write for Sir. I want to write for dudes as well, like male and female. I just want to write for everybody coming up now, Summer Walker, because I feel like there's a collective voice of things happening, a natural experience that we're all feeling at the same time. And when you sit down with somebody and you write a song with them, you guys are able to expand on that idea. So I just really want to get into the room with these artists and create something. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of performances, what song are you looking forward to perform most once we're able to go back on stage, the artists are able to go back and perform out in public again? What song off of this project would you love to perform first?
Probably That's Real, because That's Real is the third track on my EP. And it has so many band elements. When I perform with a band. That's the background I come from. So being able to do that on stage and hearing the drums and the horns and the piano, it's going to be a big vibe. So that is the first song, like when I get outside, I want to perform.
And for the fans tuned in right now listening, have you been able to do any virtual performances at all?
I have.
Mhm.
So I do random virtual performances on my live all the time when I'm drinking wine. But I also had a drive-in on September 25th, and that was a virtual concert as well as in-person concert. So I had about 350 people in Florida pull up in their cars. We were safe, and they watched my show from their car. So that was like my biggest virtual performance of the quarantine of 2020.
And what platform was this on? Because I always ask, as like Zoom, there's sometimes some issues with hearing the music, and there's friction and interference. What platform was this on?
It was on YouTube.
Oh, it was just
It was
on
on
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah, I went live on YouTube. I went
Okay.
live on YouTube, and amazing. The quality was bomb. My grandma watched it in New York. Like, my family loved it. It was amazing.
Any upcoming performances that you would like to let the fans know about?
You may be seeing me in New York very soon.
Okay.
You may be seeing me in Atlanta very soon. So just stay tuned.
When we look back years from now, especially your fans, what do you want them to remember most about this EP, Self-Care?
I want them to remember that they are not alone in feeling like they need more self-love and self-care for themselves. I want them to remember anthems. I want them to remember being empowered at a time where they felt powerless. And I want them to remember that 2020 was really a time to tap into who you are and really fix what's going on with you so that we can step into 2021 with a brand new attitude. So that's what I wanted.
I think that's what people take away from it. Savannah Cristina, is there anything else you would love to let the listeners know who are tuned in right now?
Stay tuned for more music. I have some heat on the way. And follow me everywhere at Savannah Cristina. That's Savannah, Savannah. Cristina, no H.
You heard it from Savannah Cristina first. I want to thank you for coming on my show here for an interview today. I had a great time. Love to have you back in the future.
Of course. Thank you for having me. And I keep my robe on, so this is a great interview.
No problem. Thank you. We appreciate it. I want you to take care and stay safe. I'm looking forward to the upcoming music and visuals and performances.
You too. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Goodbye.